Alright, we're going to take a look at some vanilla Stellaris today. Going through the empire creation. Going to cover a little bit of the main important things and kind of how to get yourself a good setup to start with. And that's pretty much going to be the gist of this video. But, so I've already gone through and created a race. We're going with the rock lobsters. Alright, so this is one of the first things that's actually going to make any kind of difference in your game is going to be the traits of your race. And you get a total number of trait picks and trait points that are different because you can use some of these that will have negative effects, which will then give you trait points to spend. But I'm not going with any of that today to keep it simple. We're going to go with traditional, so they get an additional 10% unity from jobs, and natural engineers, which will give them 15% engineering bonus from jobs. You can look through the list. Really, when it comes down to it, most of the bonuses, or alternatively the negatives, you can either eventually get text that will help out or offset those, or you can also get gene engineering for your races and things like that. You can go ahead and erase some of the negatives and things like that, or change the bonuses how you want later in the game. But for now, it's pretty straightforward. All of this whole section here is really going to be just kind of cosmetic. It's more of an RP type thing. Same with most of this, the name lists and things like that. I've gone with the randomization for the homeworld and star names, which is kind of a nice option, especially when you're doing something quick like this. But since we are rocks lobsters, I'm going to go with an ocean world, and I'm going to want to match that to kind of, one, it's going to be a little bit RP based on what kind of a race you choose, but two, it's going to determine the habitability for your race. What that means is it's going to determine which planets you can inhabit with no negatives before you get the option to terraform them and change your options there. City appearance is all cosmetic. Now in vanilla, you've only got 3 origins to choose from. Prosperous unification, which is going to give you extra population and districts to start with. Galactic Door, which will give you a dormant gateway in your home system. And spoiler, but there are some dangers that come along with that. Or Lost Colony, and this is going to put an advanced copy of your species somewhere else in the galaxy. Which doesn't necessarily mean that you'll automatically be friends when you meet them, so to speak. So for sake of this, we've gone with Prosperous Unification. It's kind of the easiest, best bonuses from the beginning. Really, for a first-time playthrough, it's probably going to be your best bet. Now, government and ethics. I've gone with authoritarian xenophobes because they are rock lobsters, right? And we've made them a dictatorship. Now, some of these civics can get a little bit confusing if you don't know exactly what you're trying to build toward. My automatic go-tos every time, regardless of kind of what I want to go to, is going to be these two. Functional architecture, which is going to make your buildings and districts cheaper to build and cheaper to maintain. And efficient bureaucracy, so you have a boost to your admin capacity. And what that's going to do for you is you can expand a little bit further, a little more quickly, and not get negatives to research and things like that from being, having too much sprawl. Of course, we are the Rock Lobster Empire, and our ships are arthropod because that's what our species is. This is just going to be a quick overview, and we'll tell it to start. Now, I like to go with a large galaxy personally, with usually a low number of AI empires especially when you're planning out either a new race, a new government type, a new beginning, or origin, excuse me, because that's going to give you a little bit more time and room to expand before you start running into other people. Not starting anybody off with an advanced start, not having any fallen empires. I've reduced the tech and tradition cost just a bit. Show you how things go just a little bit faster here. Also reduced the primitive civilizations because that's going to cause kind of similar issues as the AI empires, as it's going to reduce kind of your expansion abilities and things. And again, just for kind of a first time playthrough or trying to get the feel of the game, I think it's better to have just a little bit more room to stretch your legs before you start running into people. Now everything else is pretty much set to defaults, and we're going to start. Okay, so when you get in, it's going to give you a little bit of a background story here. It's going to give you an overview of your species, and then it's going to zoom you right in on your first planet. I'm going to zoom us out first, and we're going to discover where exactly in the galaxy we are. Alright, so we're kind of down on the south end. Actually, that's really nice because it's going to allow us to expand through this arm here, probably. Well, hopefully, without running into anybody else. And if we do, we can always jump up into this arm through this. Looks like we can get up there probably. Going off this way. So we have a pretty good starting location. Pretty good starting resources. Now the first thing you're going to want to look at, or first thing you're going to want to probably understand, is what your resources are. You've got energy credits, minerals, food, consumer goods, alloys, special resources, which you won't be starting with any of those likely. Those will be kind of late game, tech dependent, game changer type resources that are going to give you pretty good boosts and things like that, but they're going to be rare. Your influence, that's going to determine how quickly you can expand, as well as well, like dealing with your factions and things like that once you get them. Unity, that's going to buy your traditions essentially. Overview of your total research, which down at the bottom you can see the symbols match there. We've got physics, society, and engineering. First thing you're going to have to do for research is actually pick the text that you're starting with. We'll get to that. Here's your empire sprawl. This is where your administrative capacity comes in. That's going to be the 55. There's are going to be our total admin capacity. And we're at 34 of 55 just to start with one system, one planet. So that's something you kind of need to look at. Envoys, you're not going to have to worry about them right away until you've met other players, and those will be kind of your representatives that you send to either work on improving relations or harming relations, various things. Total population so far, number of star bases and starbase capacity, naval strength and capacity, as well as diplomatic weight. Alright, so we're going to start by looking at research. Now, you do have a tech tree in this, however, I guess the order in which you research things doesn't necessarily follow that tree. Now that is, okay, so you can see both of these have a 1 as in their first tier in that, I guess, tree. You will have to unlock those before you can unlock 2. Unlock 2 before you can unlock 3, so on. What I mean by not following a tree is once you pick one of these and start researching them, it's going to be random which ones will pop up next for you to be able to research. So you can't, it's not as easy to plan out your technology as some other games where you just click through the tree, kind of. Alright, so what I've done here means I've selected nanomechanics for my engineering research so that I get extra bonus engineering research. I've gone with genome mapping to increase my population speed. And I've gone with global energy management so that I can build energy grid building on my planets, which will increase my energy credit output. Now, energy credits, more or less going to be your cash. That's going to be one of the most important things that you need to buy and build most things, directly followed by minerals. Any kind of ships, well, not necessarily ships, but especially any kind of buildings that you want to build are going to need minerals. Food, if you're an organic race, if you're playing on vanilla, you only have the option to play organic races. So food's going to be what keeps your population alive. Consumer goods is really just going to be something that keeps them happy, kind of. Alloys is what you're going to build ships and star bases with. And we don't need to worry about the special ones yet. So now that we've got our research going, next thing is to take our first construction ship. And you can see here when you cursor over the star system, some of these numbers are in green and some of them are in white. The ones in white represent ones that we don't have, I guess, control of, and they're not adding to our income yet. So what we got to do for that is build either mining stations or research stations. Looks like we have 2 energy, 2 minerals, and 2 engineering research. But since we start out poor, all we can do is build a research station. That's going to take that 2 engineering and add it to our income. Our first starship, the point of your starships is mostly to go out and explore systems. I say explore systems, but really what you want to do is survey them. Because once they're surveyed, then you can send your construction ship in, build a starbase, take over the resources in that system. Now, going down the left side here, you've got an overview of your government. Demographics, we've only got the 1 race in our empire so far. And since we made them, we kind of know everything that we've got. Right now, they've got a plus 25 total to population growth speed, which is nice. Just have to make sure to not get overpopulated. Your contacts tab is going to be empty until you've met other species or other empires. Your situation log is also going to be empty until some kind of situation arises, and there's going to be a lot of things going on there, so you'll get to know that pretty quick. It's just your technology overview, which we've already gone over, but from this screen you can also go over to the researched tab, and these are going to show you all of them that you have already unlocked, and it shows you the order that you unlocked them in. So this is just showing you the basics. All of these are going to be the ones that you started with based on your starting parameters. There might be a little bit of difference, but otherwise everybody's going to pretty much have all of these to begin with. Next thing is going to be the market. This is going to be potentially important depending on how your incomes up here look. And to start with, I've got really, really good income, so there's no need to even look at the market right now. But in time, my holding capacity for these different resources is limited. So you can either build resource silos on your planets, you can build them on your star bases, and what that'll do is it'll increase the capacity that you can hold of each resource. Until you can do that, or even if you do that, if your incomes are really good, you're going to max out eventually, and you'll have to come in here and do some resource fixing. Right column's going to be sell, left column's going to be buy. Everything transfers into energy credits, and then you can use those credits to buy or sell more of your other resources as you need. Automatic trades you can set up so that every month you'll automatically buy or sell a certain given amount of whatever materials. That's handy if you know you're going to have a shortage, or if you know you're going to have an abundance. The Cosmography tab is going to show you all of your current systems and planets, as well as any that you've surveyed or can colonize, and that's going to be useful kind of mid to late game. Now, traditions, policies, and edicts are going to be certain things that will give you bonuses or reduce negatives as you go. Your traditions will all be bought with Unity. Each of these different boxes is a tree that has its own adoption effect as well as a finisher effect. And then each of the little boxes inside is its own tradition that will have their own cost as well as benefits. Now, when you unlock a full tree, it's going to unlock one of these Ascension Perks. Now, these Ascension Perks are going to be pretty game-changing, or at least have major implications for your empire as you go along. And you'll get one of those every time you finish a tree in the traditions. Policies are going to be kind of your governmental feelings and stances on certain things in the universe. These will change as certain things come up, as you either meet new races or you unlock different technologies or various things. So you want to keep an eye on that as you go through. And now edicts, you've got an edict capacity. Right now I can only have 2 active. Each edict, okay, so you can have more than your edict capacity, but as the next thing says, Empire Sprawl Impact. Each edict over the capacity will increase your Empire Sprawl. That's going to slow down things like research and things like that. Right now, I'm not going to activate either of these. Like this one, I'm 100 influence short on buying anyway. But you'll get more of those as certain things happen in the game, so we'll keep an eye on that as you go along too. Now, your leaders, you'll get to know them as you go along, depending on what you've got set up and things. They'll either die more quickly or more slowly throughout the game and need to be replaced. You can recruit new leaders as you go through. Each will have a cost. Each has their own traits, skill levels, and age, which is going to be important again if you've got a short-lived race, for example. Factions are going to pop up later in the game for you probably, and yeah, that's not something for this video right now, but they can help and hinder you as you go along. And the species tab is going to show you all of the species currently in your empire. And now for your first playthrough, really, those are going to be the main things you need to worry about. The right side here is going to be all of your overview. It's going to show you current research, current planets, sectors, and that's going to apply as you start to expand more and get further and further spread out. You'll have different sectors of space. You'll be able to have different governors for them and things. Your civilian ships here. We've already got the science ship going over here to survey this system. We've got our construction ship working here in our home system. We've only got the one shipyard currently in the home system. And our fleet also in home system. It consists of 3 ships with a total of 108 firepower. About the only thing else until you get into some kind of galactic community or federation or specifically a war you're going to need to worry about on this set is going to be your fleets and ships. Now this can be, I guess you can go as in-depth or hands-off with this as you want. Auto-generate is going to be the best for new players. What that's going to do is whenever you unlock new capabilities for your ships, things like that, the game will automatically update the blueprints for your ships that you currently have with the best technology. And you'll just upgrade all of your ships to that, and you'll be at peak performance. The other thing you can do is turn off auto generate, go to manual ship design, go in and pick everything from what sections you want on it. These will change as you unlock them, but you can change the radar systems, the boosters, the reactors. Pick the weapon systems, pick the defenses, pick your extra components, and it'll give you a rundown here of all of the stats. And that's something that you can do, but specifically for first playthrough, I would say auto-generate's going to be your best bet. You're not going to have to worry about that while you're trying to control your empire and worry about your incomes and all of these other things. But you will need to go in once in a while into your fleets and either increase the size of your fleets, manually upgrade. And one of the first things you need to do is assign an admiral. Oh, but I don't have enough energy credits to recruit one yet, so let's go ahead and unpause here for a few minutes and see what we get. Alright, look at that. We've already got our first thing for our event log, and it's going to start the Voltaeum event chain.
Situation log updated.
I'm going to go ahead and pause real quick and pop over to our situation log, and it's going to give us an overview of this. Nothing to do with it right now. Alright, so it looks like our construction ship's finished building the research stations, which is nice, but we still don't have the 200 that he needs to build the mining stations, which is fine because really what we need to do is go to our planet here. We've already got 2 open building slots, which is kind of nice, but we can't afford to build anything yet. Oh, I take that back. We can't afford to build a resource silo, which is going to give us an extra 2,000 storage capacity on all of our resources, as well as 2 clerk jobs. Clerks produce trade value and amenities. So actually we're going to go ahead and build one of those right away, because I know that we're going to have issues because these incomes right now are pretty massive, and we're going to run out of storage capacity pretty quickly on those. Now you can see there's going to be little resource things pop up here as our side ship goes through and scans planets, finds out what's there and what's not. So I'm going to go ahead and send our construction ship over here already, because I know I'm going to want to build a space station there and get control of those resources. Again, once we have, well, we have the minerals now, I guess. Usually, I would go ahead and secure what I've got in my home system first.
System survey complete.
Mostly so that I don't forget what I've got there. And as you can see, we've had multiple things pop up here all at once. So first, we're going to go back to our construction ship. Tell him to build an outpost. It's going to cost 45 unity, 90 alloys. We can afford it, so he's going to start building that. Our science ship. It's a dead end there, so go ahead and research there first. This just tells me that they've finished researching or surveying that system, which we already know. And this is going to be our first tradition. And if you're going for expansion early game, I definitely recommend going with Discovery first. It's going to increase our anomaly research speed by 20%, and getting all of them is going to increase our research speed by 10%. So we'll go with that for the first one and drive on. And it looks like there is an ocean world there, which is going to be habitable for us. So once he surveys that, we can send our construction ship in, have him build a outpost, get all the research and mining and everything done, but then we'll be able to build a colony ship and send it there to colonize. So, since he's here, I'm going to go ahead and build this mining station. I almost sent him back to home system to build there first, just to finish that off. But we'll get to that in a minute. I'm not going to forget about that, I think. We'll see.
Situation log updated.
I'm going to skip a lot of these kind of things that come up because I'm really right now just kind of focusing on basics. But pretty much both of these in one form or another are going to come up for everybody when you first start the game. So it won't be a big surprise. It's just going to unlock some event trees for you there. And now this planet's turning green because it's got 80% habitability. I guess they just can't have 100% without
construction complete.
Either techs or other boosts, which is fine. Now you can see he can't build a starbase here yet because it's not fully surveyed, but I will send him there already, so once it is, because I'm more worried about
system survey complete,
getting us a colony ship started. He finished researching or surveying that. So now I'll send him to the next one. Go ahead and start building that. Yeah, and this is going to increase the survey speed too. So when that science ship gets over here and starts surveying, it'll go more quickly. Yeah, that's not what I meant to do. Alright, so now that he's done completely with that system, now I'll go back and build those mining stations before I do forget it. We've got our first colony ship. Colonize Serban Prime. Our governor got a new skill. Outstanding. So now we're going to get the intellectual boost from that, giving all of our research jobs research boost, research output boost. Alright, now that's kind of just a quick breakdown of how to get started. Really what you want to do, throw your science ships out there and have them explore. Chase them with your construction ships to gather up resources. And play on.